Namaskar, everyone. So, warm welcome to our series, Be Well and Stay Well. And this morning, I'm delighted to have with us Dr. Hemant Gupta, who hails from India, but lives in Ottawa. And he runs the Sri Ma Ayurveda and Holistic Center. And I've been looking forward to speaking with him. And for those of you who know Prema Devi, she's been tutored by him. And he has a very impressive curriculum, but first of all, let me spend a few minutes centering you. And I want to welcome as well, not only our Zoom viewers, but those of you on Facebook and YouTube as well. Now, if you have questions, and I'll repeat it again, we're going to have a question and answer session at the conclusion of his presentations and my conversation with him. But during my conversation with him, you can put on the chat any questions that you may have that you want me to ask him, and I will get those messages. Okay? So let's begin with a little bit of centering. Let's close the eyes for a moment. Center within in that space of infinite being. That center of infinite peace, love, goodness, wisdom, and vitality. Let's center in there. Let's open up the borders of our ego thinking. Holding the awareness that I exist in infinite consciousness, in infinite possibilities. Be detached as much as you can from the thoughts and that play in the mind. Just witness them. Let them come, let them go. Don't energize them by giving attention to them. Use the breathing as a tool to calm the mind and senses. Rhythmic breathing, full lung breathing, gentle conscious breathing. Pausing at the end of the out breath for a moment and at the end of the in breath. Breathing in Ujjayi. And let's find that center that connects all of us together. Despite our physical location today, in the hub of consciousness, at the very center of consciousness, we all exist there in oneness. And not only center with the mind, but open up the heart as well as you center in the chest. Let's breathe into the emotional center. Breathing out and breathing in, and center in that space of infinite love, the love that connects all of us in oneness. And then open the belly to breathe as you breathe into the gut area, that we may revitalize our bodies, our physical bodies, to support us in our meeting today. Gentle conscious breathing, rhythmic breathing, full lung breathing. And let's chant the peace mantra. Take a deep breath. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much, everyone. So it's my joy to introduce to you Dr. Gupta. He has very impressive credentials, I'll read some of those for you. But if you go to his website, and we'll post his website, it begins with a quotation from Hippocrates, father of modern medicine. He says, "Illness do not come upon us out of the blue. Illness do not come upon us out of the blue. They are developed from small daily sins against nature." Small daily sins against nature. When enough sins have been accumulated, illness will suddenly appear. So it says that we are transgressors, that we have sinned against nature, the natural energy and rhythm of life. So, and in the website, we have a message from Dr. Gupta, and I'll go down a little more. And here I'll say a little bit about who Dr. Gupta is. 35 years of extensive expertise in Ayurveda medicine and holistic health, and continues to attract people of all cultures and lifestyle backgrounds. Since receiving his MD degree in Ayurvedic medicine and a degree in natural medicine, Dr. Gupta has been consulting with and treating patients, conducting research, publishing professional articles, lecturing, and teaching internationally on his findings. As Associate Professor and Deputy Director at the College of Maharishi Vedic Medicine at Fairfield, Ottawa, he designed comprehensive undergraduate master's and PhD programs. While in Ottawa, Dr. Gupta was on the advisory board of the Center for Natural Medicine and Prevention, which is funded by the National Institute of Health to do research on complementary medicines. So there you have a little bit on Dr. Gupta. So welcome today, Dr. Gupta, to our Blue Star Forum. It's a joy to have you, and I know likewise with you it's a joy to be here because you have this natural instinct for sharing knowledge. But as we begin, Dr. Gupta, my first question to you, that we get to know you a little bit more, is what attracted you to Ayurvedic medicine, this path? What was your passion for this, that you spent a lot of time in learning and practicing Ayurvedic medicine and natural medicine? So here we are. Can we? Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to offer this great knowledge and practice of this knowledge, and also to join your followers from across the world. So it's a kind of an international family that we are addressing. Thank you for offering this opportunity to me. Before I answer this question, beautiful question, it touched my heart. So I will answer that. If you will give me permission, I may like to chant Dhanvantri mantra.
Please.
Yes. Namami Dhanvantari Madhidevam Sura Suraivandik Pad Padmam Lokai Jararukko Bhaimratyunasham Dhataramisham Vividhoshadhinam.
Beautiful, thank you.
So, actually, I have to be honest in telling this, and I will tell how I feel being in Ayurveda. Uh, it was about, I would say, in 87. Uh, Coming in Ayurveda was, I was just past my school and I was looking for career oriented further education. My father and his father and some other generations, they were already in Ayurveda. And I saw all that happening when I was very young. My grandfather would be churning these fresh herbs, and he was very famous for medicine of burn. And he would treat sometimes 50%, 70% burn, but he will treat just by making those and completely getting those. I saw that
Wow.
from my eyes. And several other of my older generations, they were in this. But until that time, I didn't decide to have this as a career. I saw all that, I got involved in it. I was preparing those medicines for my grandfather. But at this time, when I was looking for a career, my father said, "Why don't you try Ayurveda?" And I mean, I knew about it a lot, but I don't know if it clicked or not clicked. So somehow there is also destiny that played the role.
Yes.
And so then I just applied, and there is a lot of Vedic astrology that was so planetary influence was there that was making this happen. It was like this is I was meant for this. So many things happened which were in my favor for me to get admission in Ayurvedic college. And same thing happened once I was in this. I shared this story with you. Reading Vivekananda's Karma Yoga has completely changed my life, and I was very clear what is my path for my whole life. After reading Vivekananda, that was clear.
Beautiful.
And so I finished my with a degree undergraduate, but then I became interested in masters. And then when I came out of India in 1991 and came in touch with my spiritual guru Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, that was completely transforming me. 10 years of degree in
Oh,
Ayurveda.
wow. So from India, you went to Iowa,
From India, I went to Holland.
to Holland.
Yes.
Yeah, we have viewers from
And
Holland today. And then,
yeah. And in Holland, under Maharshi ji, I did
all
2 months
right.
of
Yeah,
advanced course.
yeah.
And but that what actually happened until that time, Ayurveda for me was herbal medicine, dosha based medicine.
Yes.
And as soon as I did this advanced course, for me, who already was having master's degree and undergraduate degree in Ayurveda, what clicked that system became consciousness based holistic healthcare.
Beautiful.
So I knew this. I was reading in the Sangitas, but it got enlivened.
So Maharishi's Vedic university, or the influence of Maharishi Mahesh, it changed your perspective, added to your perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it changed for me thinking Ayurveda is my profession to Ayurveda is for me. I am for Ayurveda. This is
Beautiful.
my goal. This is my vision. This is my dharma. And I feel very blessed and fortunate that whatever made it happened to me in this lifetime.
Beautiful. So did you spend 10 years in Iowa?
No, I spent actually 7 years in Iowa, but that was more for teaching assignment because
Right, okay.
I was given the responsibility of creating syllabus, curriculum, and teach that curriculum for undergraduate, masters, and PhD.
Okay.
But that was after, so 1991, I was in Holland, and then I traveled across the globe So that was teaching courses for doctors, for health professionals, for public. So I traveled Japan, Australia.
On behalf of
Yes,
Marishi's movement.
right,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
So I went at least 3 or 4 times teaching courses, advanced courses to doctors in Japan,
Beautiful, beautiful.
Australia. So that was a great experience actually, because what I thought that how come Ayurveda we learned in 10 years, now we are asked to teach that course in 15 days to these doctors. But then I understood that the knowledge, the core knowledge, if you connect in right way, you can give that knowledge, you can enliven that knowledge, you can motivate people to live healthy in smallest amount of time or in big framework.
Yes, absolutely. Beautiful. So how did you end up going to Ottawa?
That's another. I don't want to take too much time of my personal story, but I will share that. Actually, I went from when I was in the university in Iowa. Maharshi was having a big global course of excellence, ultimate course, and so he wanted me to come back to Holland, leave the family in India, and be part of that course. So I went there, but I was only given 5 days visa from States. So then after 5 days, I had to go back to India, and then I only wanted to come with family. So one of my students from Iowa, her father, a medical doctor, he sponsored me, and he was in Newfoundland. I lived there for 4 years. One client of mine from Ottawa said, "Why don't you move to Ottawa?"
Oh,
So he just helped me to find the space, this place that I have, and everything else. And then I also consulted astrology at that time. He said, "This is perfect. It will all be just evolving, growing, and very successful." So having both those supports, cosmic influence as well as from my client, I started this, and I'm enjoying.
oh, I'm so happy to hear that. And and then so you started your own center in Ottawa,
Right.
the Sri Ma Center. So
Yeah,
beautiful.
and I am offering all the possible things for Ayurveda. So there are different kinds of courses, certificate courses, all the therapies that are possible. So rejuvenation therapies, panchkarma therapies, and I have even came up with the line of products because it's not easy to import things. So I thought, why not just manufacture here? And so I have
Yeah,
all of that, and
yeah.
so yes, and it's growing.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dr.
Thank.
Gupta, for sharing this. And based on our theme of be well and stay well, and we have spoken a little bit, what would you present to us today based on our conversation before and the theme we have? And one of the things that is foremost in my mind is the whole idea of keeping our immune system high to combat all the infections or whatever might be around, and to stay well the Ayurvedic way or the holistic way, mind, body, spirit way. So I leave the floor open to you, and you're very experienced in the teaching of this, and you with international audiences as well. So I leave it for you today.
Okay. So I will tell you what I have decided. Basically, we can break this my presentation today in 3 parts. And the part one is I want to put this in reference that why integrative, holistic, prevention-based healthcare is becoming more and more relevant and popular today. And I want to bring the perspective. What is making that happen? The second part is I will introduce Ayurveda Yoga and what is the role of Ayurveda and Yoga today. And that I will end up with what you suggested is the current time of COVID and
Excellent.
how Ayurveda can contribute for that. Now I understand it's a lot. So I would like all the audience to be patient because a lot to cover, I would expect some of this will be covered by brilliant questions by you and by Guruji. But I will try to stay on the topic, but I can tell you that there are so many things to cover. Okay, and so I would like to share the screen, if you will allow me. Okay, so COVID is the center, but then I want to talk other things around.
Yes.
So here is the status of we think that modern system, current healthcare system, most advanced, and a huge amount of money goes in advanced research. So you would think that they would have most solutions for all kinds of sufferings that mankind have. And this is what I want to bring in perspective. And so we see that outcome of current healthcare, more people, and this is, I'm sharing this from my practice, more people have heart diseases, arthritis, different kinds of arthritis, fibromyalgia, some of the names that were not heard before, and when I say before, like 30, 40, 50 years before, chronic fatigue syndrome, all kinds of food allergies, all kinds of seasonal allergies, diabetes, obesity, overweight, cancers. I was, when this doctor that I was practicing with in Newfoundland, I asked him that he retired after 45 years. I asked him that, how many cancer patients were you seeing when you started your practice? And he said that, he said that maybe 3 or 4 or 5 in a month. And I asked him, how many do you see now? And he was seeing about 60 to 80 patients a day.
Why?
And he said, you would be surprised that more than 30, 40%, sometimes 50% are those who have different kinds of cancers. And they are basically, all I do is just the management. Things that need to be taken for whole lifetime. Then I asked him, so what do you think is the reason that number has grown despite the fact that medicine has advanced? And he said, answer was very much in sync with what Guruji just said, while in violation of natural laws in terms of eating habits and lifestyle. It was very pleasing to hear from a medical doctor, because he said, I cannot point on one cause and research study has not came out. So he said it has to be lifestyle and diet, because that's what has changed. More people are taking drugs for antidepressants. I have heard children as young as 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, they are put on antidepressants. Think about it. Child, only another word we can use for a child is playfulness, innocent. And they are put on antidepressants, painkillers. Our cupboards are filled with these kinds of things, enzymes. Our digestion was naturally good. But now we need enzymes to digest. Our body produces enzymes, but we have to take from outside. Antacids. We were able to draw all the necessary vitamins and nutrients from the food we were eating 50, 60 years ago. Now we need vitamins and supplements. I'm not against completely to that, but the amount and on the basis that we are using it, I don't think that it can be justified. We can understand after 60, 70, if someone takes it, that's different. But now everyone is taking it. So this actually raises the question that what is it that is missing? An answer will come in next slides. This is another thing that actually is said. Heart disease, diabetes, prostate, different kinds of cancers, obesity account for 75% of diseases, healthcare cost. Yet these are largely preventable, not only that, but even reversible. How? By changing diet and lifestyle. And this is not my statement, this is published in Washington Post and written by 3 top doctors who are now in integrative medicine, Dr. Deepak Chopra and 3 others. So this is something that we should all note. Okay? So what is it? Now the answer. And this is what this series is. The title of this series, today's series, is Integrative Holistic Overall Well-Being. But how will that happen? If we don't find what is the missing in current healthcare system, it will not happen. So what is that missing first? That missing link is self-awareness. We cannot use one thing for everyone. We cannot use same treatment for everyone. We cannot give same prevention methods like these vaccines now we are talking about for everyone. Even prevention has to be personalized. But how it can be personalized? Through self-awareness. And what provides this self-awareness? What enlivens this self-awareness? Yoga and Ayurveda. These ancient sciences in modern times with unique technology to enliven missing link. And this is the missing link, which is self-awareness. I'm so pleased that Guruji started by this whole even session by centering. And the whole purpose of that centering is connecting. All that which is manifest, this whole body, senses, brain and everything, but they're connecting to something that is nothing, which is Atma, self. And only this technology of yoga and Ayurveda helps. And this is not something that is timely changing. This is technology that works and it is eternal. It worked for thousands of years, it works now, and it will work forever. That's why it is eternal. So here is the question, then when it enlivens, what does it enliven? When I was telling this, Ayurveda and yoga enliven this missing link. So it enlivens or restores connection. Connection to who? Connection of body, senses, mind and Atma, self. Connection of body and body's inner intelligence. And this is what is explained in Ayurveda so beautifully, and I would like to sum up this in one quote. All of you might be familiar with, if I ask you, what is the definition of Ayurveda? Most of the time people say, oh, this is science of life. That is just the meaning of word, but it is not the definition. For definition, we have to go into, it is made up of 2 words, Ayu and Veda. And what is Ayu? Ayu is lifespan. But how it is defined? If we have to point, what is life? It is so beautifully summed up in one Sanskrit quote, which I will just now say. And you will see that in that definition, yoga is in there. True yoga meaning is in there. So Ayurveda yoga never separate. It's just that they have different emphasis. One has more emphasis on body for enlightenment. Another has body and mind union, more other kinds of techniques. I will say this definition, and that is the definition of Ayu I am talking about. The definition of Ayu goes like this: Sharir means body, Indriya means senses, Sattva means mind, Atma means self, Sharir, Indriya, Sattva, Atma, Sam Yogo. So yog of these body, senses, mind and self. Sam yoga. But what kind of yoga? If we are, all these are just tools. They are not on their own. I will give us an example. We have taken the lunch and then after that we go to see a friend, we are full. We stop when we were satisfied. And we go to a friend who offers gulab jamun. I'm sure all of you might be familiar with gulab jamun or say samosa. Now, at that time, if we will eat it, which most of the time it happens, people do it, then what it is? Is it the sensory satisfaction or is it need of body? Of course, it is not the need of body because we just had the lunch. So what happened in this case? It is not some yoga because sense and Atma is not balanced because it will not create balance. So what we are talking here, the Sharir, Indriya, Sattva, Atma, Sam Yoga. Dhari is sustaining that Sam Yoga. Sam Yoga means balanced union. And sustaining that balanced union, what it provides is longevity, healthy life, happy life. So all Ayurveda is what can have negative effect on this union, what can have positive effect on this union. All knowledge and wisdom, any subject and science that encompass that is called Ayurveda. So this is the sum here, that Ayurveda and yoga, and this is relevant for all time. It is happening now. COVID is making it happen. Failure of modern system, particularly for prevention. We have to give them credit for crisis care. We have to give them credit for emergency care. We have to give them credit for whatever they can do for diagnosis. But when it comes to staying healthy and prevention, overall well-being, we also have to give credit and acknowledge that yoga, Ayurveda and integrative medicine has their own role. We can live together hands on hand. So now I will move on to the second topic. So Ayurveda and yoga, another thing besides health, they are the science and technology to transform nothing to everything. Talking in more tangible terms, so what is this nothing in this body? Body's inner intelligence, Atma, in its silent phase is nothing. And then that gets enlivened and then it flows. That flow, we can name it prana. It flows through brain as buddhi, then to manas, mind, then through 5 senses, and then from the 5 senses is connect to 5 elemental. Everything is made up of 5 elements. So connect to 5 elements, the world made up of 5 elements, and see everything. See self in everything and everything in self. And come back realizing, self-realizing, I am that. That is me. I am Atma Brahma. I am the totality. And that is the purpose. That is purpose of Ayurveda, that is purpose of yoga, that is purpose of life. And anything that can offer us technology, knowledge, understanding, and make us ground, center, it serves the purpose of life. It keeps us healthy. Now, there are few terms here and there they have came just for the sake of, because sometimes people say, oh, so what is this? The different terms. I just want to put all of those terms together so that there is no confusion. People think, oh, this is separate, that teacher was saying this book writes this, that book writes this. I just want to bring all those terms together so that we know that they are not separate. And then you just stay with practice and technology. Okay? So experiencing I am Atma Brahma, I am the totality. I have put the levels of existence from very gross, which is physical, to very subtle or nothing. Okay? And then the role each level, and then here are the koshas. You are very familiar and you practice all of that. Okay? So can you see the whole slide, right? You can see the whole slide.
Yeah, we are seeing it. We are seeing it.
Okay. So now here at this level, I covered this part already in the definition of Ayu that I was giving: Sharir, Indriya, Sattva, Sharir, Indriya, Manas, Sattva and Atma. Now on the right hand side, there are the koshas. So the Sharir or body, Annamaya kosha, Indriya, or we can say Pranamaya kosha. So prana, it flows through the five senses, goes into the Manas, Manomaya kosha. And then after the Manomaya kosha, when the information, information brought by five senses, different kinds of information, eye brings photons and ear brings different and nose brings different. So all those informations coming, processed by, analyzed by Manomaya kosha. That's the function of mind. There are different kinds of steps, 5 different steps that mind goes through before coming to conclusion of the knowledge. But that is not the topic today.
But
And then
just a second, Dr. Gupta, for curiosity.
Which is where there are...
Just a second for curiosity.
Yes,
because
please.
we know manas.
Yes, please.
I would like just say a little thing about it, a little thing about the steps of manas, the different stages of manas, or the
so
categories.
there are 5 functions here for manas, and it is Chintyam, Vicharyam, Uhyam, Dhyeya, Sankalpa. So these are 5 steps. The Sankalpa is the final step. But before that, it is basically what is happening, Chintyam. So like say we have seen something, like I have a tree in front of me, and those vibrations, those dots come, connect to my eye apparatus. It is only apparatus. At this time we don't know. And then after that, it goes through the optic nerve into the optic center, and at that place, those dots are put together. And then the Chintyam part of mind, it actually just recognizes dots.
Cognizes.
Yes. And then Vicharyam, so the thought process, second stage. First is just the Chintyam, Vichar, analysis.
Yes.
Uhyam, okay, is it this, is it this, is it this, is it this? So analysis, right? So Chintyam, Vicharyam, Uhyam, Dhyeya. Now it is coming to some conclusion. Okay, these dots, this is this tree, this is the name.
Okay.
Now at the end, now it's clear. Now it has name.
Yeah, it's clear, but it's a sense-based knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is sense-based, but now it is going into next phase, which is for buddhi, which is Vijnana.
Yeah, good.
And the Vijnanamaya kosha has 3, so it is Dhi, Dhriti and Smriti. So buddhi, this is the element of buddhi, and it has 3 different functions: Dhi, Dhriti and Smriti. And so Dhi, Dhriti, Smriti we can understand as 3R. So Dhi means receiving.
Yes.
And then second, Dhriti means retaining.
Vritti is retaining.
Dhriti is retaining.
Right, and Smriti?
And Smriti, recalling.
Recording, okay, excellent.
Recalling.
Recalling memory, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Memory. So Dhi, Dhriti, Smriti. So it has to go through these 3. Now what is important here? Each one plays the role. So when we call attention deficit disorder, which particular factor out of these 3 is disturbed? It is the second one, which is Dhriti, attention. If this attention is very wavery, it is like vata type, it is like very busy, then the attention is not long enough for it to retain.
Yes.
And then there will be attention deficit, and then there will be different symptoms.
Yes.
So,
Clear.
but coming back, does that answer your question, Udi?
Yeah, it does. It perfectly. Thank you.
Good, good. So now here is the key. Because now it was, until this time, it was just limited to sensory apparatus going back to brain, and there is a center in the brain for each sense. But once it goes to the buddhi, now it becomes whole brain. It involves whole brain. Each center connects to others, and the whatever perception, whatever we have perceived, now it becomes global. So which means whole brain. Whole brain is having that knowledge. Now here is the reaction. This is what constitutes reaction from Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vijnan means specific knowledge. So now after this, until this time it was just perception. But now the experience and the reaction will come. So if the experience is, that is me, no conflict, so means grounding experience, pleasing experience.
Yes.
If that is the case, then the outcome is ananda.
Yes.
But if any of these elements of indriya or manas, if they are not completely healthy, then the outcome will not be, the knowledge will also be distorted or not true, and the outcome will be conflict, and there will be confusion and stress.
Yes.
But outcome has to be ananda. For each moment, every moment that we do something, the outcome has to be ananda. Sustained ananda, never lasting ananda. Okay? Now, so in the center, you see, I have written role of each one of them, just briefly. So in order to have ananda or bliss, we have to have at body level or Annamaya Kosh level, we have to have healthy body and strong immunity. At the level of prana, the flow of energy through the senses and manas, it has to be stable energy, not restless energy. And there has to be uninterrupted flow of this energy or prana. And so what can interrupt it? Now, whatever we eat, if it is not digested properly, so metabolic toxins, digestive toxins, mental toxins, emotional toxins will actually interrupt the flow of this prana. Now next, from Manomaya Kosha, we need very focused mind. If it is distorted here and there, then naturally perception will not be clear. Now from there, when it is going to Vijnanamaya Kosha or Buddhi, if the knowledge is very grounding, very clear, very stable, no confusion, naturally at Vijnanamaya Kosha level, we will be able to formulate good intention, clear intention, goal, vision. And then at the end, we will just feel bliss.
Yes.
So that was one factor that I wanted to touch. And now this is another 5 levels of existence. And I will not spend too much time on this, just briefly go through it. So this is called Pancha Panchak or 5 pentens. At different levels, they have different value. What I described before, all of that can be seen in here. All of that can be seen in here. So like Pancha Tanmatra. Tanmatra is the subtlest form of energy, which is what manifests in 5 elements. I'm sure everyone knows 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air,
Yes.
and ether, right? But
Yes.
before it becomes that, it goes through this process. So that subtle, unmanifest energy, and there are 5 fundamental energies, and they are called Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, and Gandha. And then because these are 5 different kinds of energies, that's why we have 5. this is interesting question that sometimes another time I will take. Why we have 5 elements? Why not 8? Why not 10? Modern science has grown. Modern science has grown from when I was studying chemistry, there were 75 elements, and now the list has gone to 125, and Ayurveda has stuck with 5 elements. This is very interesting question, but I will take this another time. But you can see here why we have 5 senses, why we have 5 sensory centers in the brain, and then their perception, object of perception is the 5. So sound. So here you can see Shabda, that is the sense is ear, hearing center in the brain, and the object perceived is sound, and then here, let me see if it can be, and then 5 elements. So element responsible is ether, right? Same thing here, sparsha, which is touch by skin, touch center in the brain. What is felt, the object is touch, and the element is air. All of these things have clear-cut practical implications. I apply them in my clinic. It may sound very abstract and philosophical, but I can tell you, when I see the client, I take all of this into account.
Now, this is practical. This is practical. This is definitely practical.
This is very, very practical, very practical. Then rupa, which is eye. So basically, this is for color and form, shape and color. That is the function of eye. Visual center, right? And then also the form and fire. Okay. And then we have rasa, which is the sense organ is tongue, taste center. The object is taste, and the element is water. Gandha, nose, smell center. The function is smell, and element is earth. So I just wanted to put it all together so that you can understand them.
This is beautiful, Dr. Gupta. I want to ask you a question. You use a word, panchak.
Yes.
Panchak meaning?
So panchak means 5 and 5 of 5.
Oh, 5 of 5, right. Okay,
5 of 5. So you can
it.
see here, so each vertical line has 5, and also this way we have 5.
Okay.
So that's 5, 5.
Yeah.
5 pentats.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Now here is the group of 3, but it is all connected. I want to assure you that what I talked before and this is not separate. So just to let you know, if you read in books, you read in the books Soma, Surya, Anil. You might think, oh, what is that? This is all interconnected. Used in different reference, that is the only difference, right? And so here you can see the triads of macrocosm and microcosm. As you know that there is a quote in Sanskrit says, Yatha Pinde, means this body, microcosm. Tatha Brahmande, means this universe. So Ayurveda starts with that understanding, with that assumption, with that goal, that one should experience that. I am that, I am the totality. Okay? So here these terms, Soma, Surya, Anil. Anil is for air. So the functions of Soma is binding, but it is at cosmic level, everything integrated and together. Surya is transforming. Surya is for sun. And Anil is for air, moving. So we need these 3 basic functions: binding, transforming, and moving.
But
at the mind
Dr.
level...
Gupta, just one moment, please. Why would we put moving for tamas? Isn't moving a rajasic kind of...
Now, that was very good. So actually it is, if I was not able to find tamas quality corresponding to any of those.
Yeah.
And that was a confusion. But I had to put somewhere, either if we don't put here, we cannot put it for Soma, because Soma is Sattva. So it's a good question.
I got it.
Yeah.
Because we have Soma binding, and binding is more like a tamasic quality. But this is a different, it's a Sattva quality for the binding.
It's a Sattva quality, yeah. So that's why. But I'm but you picked up right away.
But moving and inertia are related, right? So
yes.
So that's how you can actually put tamas there, because moving implies also inertia. Something can only move it if it is existing.
Right.
Then it can move from one place to another. So in that way, tamas is implied. But I see your point.
Yes. And at the microcosm levels, all of these things at the microcosm level in our body as ojas, soma in the body like ojas, right? And surya in the body, tejas or fire. And anil in the body, anil means air or wind, moving, that is prana, right? Also, there are three terms used, which is dravya means matter, matter as of this body or plants or vegetables or fruits or whatever. That is all called dravya or matter.
Yeah.
Then tejas is the guna. Any matter, if it transforms into other, it is through the gunas. So basically, guna has that fire quality or the tejas quality. It is only because of guna one thing can convert into other. And then there is the prana, which is karma, manifestation of action. Okay, and so they can be also corresponded to here ojas to kapha. It is similar. All the properties of ojas are similar to kapha, and guna to pitta, and karma to vata. Okay, so this is just is only to put all different kinds of terms in one place, so that you can see that they are not separate, they are not different, they are not opposite. So there should be no confusion left at that place. Now, before I go into this coronavirus immunity thing, I want to just share one particular PowerPoint presentation that puts everything together. New share, let me see. Here. Guruji has asked me particularly to also talk about Dinacharya, Ritucharya and everything. So this particular thing, what it represents, you can see these circles. Basically, this is to represent this whole macrocosm. So whole macrocosm means universe, galaxies, solar system, earth, and on the earth, different parts of earth, and in different parts of earth, there are these countries, and in the countries there are states, and in the states there are cities, and in the city, in one of the place, you and I are sitting, and in us there are trillions of cells, and in the cell there is this nucleus, and in the nucleus there is this DNA, and in this DNA, infinitely, continuously, some activity is happening. And that activity, we call it rhythm. Rhythm. So like heart, it goes back and then it pulses. It goes back and it pulses. So there is this motion. So that motion is happening in all of us all the time, from the subtlest level to the greatest level. There is a term, there is a quote says, Ano Raniyan Mahato Mahiyan. Smaller than the smallest is greater than the greatest. Smaller than the smallest is greater than the greatest. And in all of them, what is common is rhythm and harmony. So there is a rhythm, there is a harmony, there is a movement. As long as this movement is maintained, life sustains. This rhythm breaks, life ends. So this is what I want to show here. Now in this, at the center, you see this self. Self means individual. But what does this self means in physiological terms, in body term, in terms of Ayurveda? This self reverberates, pulsates as a sign of life, right? Now in this is connected to whole body. And then you will see in the next one, there has to be homeostasis, balance. as we talked before, union of body, senses, mind and self. Homeostasis, balanced union, some yoga. Okay? Now here, balanced union of what? Balanced union of body, senses and mind. Homeostasis of body, senses and mind. Okay? Now in what terms? That's what will come next. In terms of biological rhythm. So that means these rhythms are like breathing cycle, like digestive cycle, menstrual cycle, brain cycle, renal cycle, heart cycle. These are all cycles, all rhythms. And all of them have to be in harmony, in sync. Heart has to pulsate according to body needs. It cannot start running fast even if we are not running. We run, heart need to run fast. So there has to have this rhythm in biological systems. Okay. Next one, circadian rhythm. So we are going from homeostasis within to now out. Our relationship to day cycle. And in that day cycle, so there is morning, afternoon, evening. In the morning time from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, it is kapha, more predominant. In the afternoon time from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, it is pitta predominant. And then evening time, it is vata predominant. And then again, rest of the 12 hours are divided like that. So the activities that we do during the day, like waking up in the morning, then doing yoga, then doing exercise, then doing breakfast, then having lunch, then having another exercise, then do the day work, and then have dinner, and then have sleep. All of these have to be in sync with nature. If we eat anytime, if we do any activity anytime, then we don't get optimal benefit. Now, I want to share this with you. This is something that we have been saying for more than 5,000 years in Ayurveda. It's called dinacharya. Dina means day, and charya means activity, right? In 2017, the Nobel Prize for Medicine went to 3 scientists, 2017. What it was about? This was about, they found that there is an influence of circadian rhythm on human physiology. And they proved it, this study, in 20 years. And they proved that there is clearly, they actually created these charts, the different kind of hormones and different kind of enzymes and different kind of opening and closing of different parts. Like the melatonin is high, particularly around 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the night. So wouldn't it be right, they suggested, to go to sleep at that time because there is naturally high melatonin, which helps for sleep. So those who are having trouble sleeping, just going in time will help them get better sleep. I have seen this when I was traveling around and people were complaining about not having enough sleep. And then I just suggested, what time you go to bed? They go to bed at 11 or 12. According to Ayurveda, in the evening, 6 to 10 o'clock is kapha time, and kapha is naturally, it makes you drowsy. So if you sleep at that time, you will get better sleep. But if you go late, that means after 10, then it is pitta time, and pitta is dynamic, active. So it is conflicting with the sleep. So this research study that was done, it proved exactly the point that Ayurveda has been recommending. What is interesting, it took this much time for modern medicine to recognize the knowledge is Nobel Prize worth. And they not only proved this, but they further, in the second here, in this line, you see the seasonal rhythm. So they also found the connection of annual cycle. And they actually, I have those graphs, but I didn't share here. They have actually proven that in the month of July, what particular hormones and what particular enzymes go up and go down. And Ayurveda recommends a specific seasonal routine for summer different, for winter different, for For every season different. So now here we will go a little bit individually, and I will not spend too. So at the mind level, you can see here, there is this sattva, rajas and tamas, and each one have their specific function, like the intention, sattva, attention, rajas, and direction, tamas. So these three functions, sattva, rajas, tamas, balanced and harmony of these three results into complete, confusion-free knowledge and experience. And we need to do, there is whole regimen for mind also. Whole regimen for mind. And each one of us have all these properties, but in different proportion. Dosha type, you might have heard before, but there is also mind type. Each person is different mind type. And there are technologies for each mind type. Meditation, of course, is the one, and there are many kinds of other techniques. So this is the mind part. Okay, now we go into the body part. And so what are the, most of the time people think, oh, this is what represents also mental qualities. No. Vata, Pitta, Kapha are physical doshas. Vata, Pitta, Kapha are physical doshas. So they are related to body. So also each individual has all the three, but in different proportion. And that's why we see some people are thin frame no matter how much they eat. They are underweight. And there are some people who actually say, we live on water and air and still we gain weight. We smell food and we gain weight. And they are more kapha type. Right? There are people who actually have such a good digestion, very like fire. They say, oh, we have never a problem of digestion. We can eat wooden nails and digest them. So they have never a problem. They never gain weight. They just maintain ideal weight. While kapha people, they gain weight easily. So these are physical properties, physical gunas predominant, and that makes them unique individual. And that's why Ayurveda offers personalized health plan. And that's what we see here. In the senses, we have a choice, because senses also can go wrong. Like I was telling you, I ate the lunch and then I went to my friend and he offered me nice, very delicious samosas. Now, if I will eat those samosas, that is not proper use. It is the wrong use of senses. And it will not result into homeostasis. It will result into breaking the homeostasis. So Ayurveda lists everything, what is the proper use of each sense, wrong use of each sense, excessive use of each sense. If we are getting these feeling drowsy and yawning at around 8 or 9 o'clock, and then there is a great movie or some basketball game going on and we are watching it. And then at next day we say, oh, I'm feeling tired. Well, do you ever think that what is making you feel tired? Most of the time not. Right? So what is this? This is excessive use of vision and wrong use of vision. It will naturally result into, in the long term, eye problems or migraine or all kinds of things. Right? Now here you can see that for the dosha, we can have diet for prevention, we can have nutritive diet, we can have satisfying diet according to dosha. So if you are vata type, you are pitta type, if you are kapha type, so diet for prevention, for nutrition, for satisfaction, and for dosha balance. I just thought to share this because it sums up everything in one slide. So yeah. I will stop now here.
It's excellent, Dr. Gupta.
Thank you. So now we are into last phase. Thank you for patience from all of you. If it has taken time, I think we are okay time-wise, Guruji?
Yeah.
We have another 15
We
minutes?
do, because I'd like the audience to interact with you as well as me.
Yes.
So here we come to the, here, can we bring up our gallery, please?
Now, should I cover the COVID part briefly or wait
Yeah,
for questions?
no. Please cover it first.
Okay.
No. Let's see what questions are there in the field, and then
Okay.
we'll cover
Okay.
the COVID. So here you
Okay.
have listened to Dr. Gupta very well explaining the whole idea of homeostasis and balance and microcosm and macrocosm and a lot of the terms that you would have heard before from me and in Ayurveda. It has been covered here. And I know that it will take some time to digest this because it's quite a bit of information, more than what I give to you normally. And, but it comes from someone who really knows the field, so I respect that. So I'm going to open up the field to questions, and please restrain your questions, make them relevant to the subject that you just heard, so that we can make the best use of Dr. Gupta's time. And so please, the floor is open to all of you. You ask as you wish. Put up your hands if you want to ask. All right, so I see no hands up. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go across to the coronavirus, and then I will speak to Dr. Gupta. If there are no questions, which means that you are processing. And then I will speak to him because I'm interested in the coronavirus as well. So I just thought you may have had questions, but seeing that you don't, at this stage, we go across to the coronavirus. Dr. Gupta.
Okay. I'm just bringing where I left.
Yes.
This COVID thing, I have to say that actually, in some ways, it is blessing in disguise. I know that so much suffering has happened. Sometimes it takes that much. Never before people were interested or even understanding the value of holistic medicine or value of natural medicine or value of integrative medicine or value of living healthy lifestyle, eating right. I know all of you might be already in this, but it's not common. But this has raised that question. Because of the failure or even no solution as of yet, that's why people are questioning this. And the data has proven those who were living healthy lifestyle, the data has showed that those people suffered less, or they were those people who were non-symptomatic and still they were positive. So that means they had it, but because of whatever reason which they cannot define, from Ayurvedic perspective, we can say that they might have better immunity, strong ojas, good ojas, grounded, less stress, and that's why they got exposed but asymptomatic. So here is the topic that I will cover briefly. And so 4 factors to increase survival against the COVID. Number 1 is strong immunity, which translates in Ayurveda, term we use for that is high ojas, low stress level, and healthy diet and lifestyle. So these are 4 factors that will protect us. Now, from the perspective of causes, from modern perspective, we know the external factor, that is coronavirus. Very obvious. Everyone knows this. But are there some internal factors that may affect a person and not other person? And that's what not many people talk about, which Ayurveda brings a lot in detail. And that is internal balance. Now, we will understand this internal balance part in more detail. So external factors, I will not spend too much time on this. Contact with coronavirus to infected person, physical contact, handshaking, hugging, traveling together, close proximity. less than 1 meter, touching the surfaces where virus could be live, unhealthy diet and lifestyle. So these are the things that everyone knows. Okay? Internal factors, internal balance. All of us have our unique dosha constitution, and we can have a state of balance of these doshas. And if that balance is disrupted, which means disruption of homeostasis, which means one of the dosha going up or down, vata increasing, pitta increasing, kapha increasing, that will create imbalance. Second factor is stress, because stress lowers the immunity. And the studies have proven already, those who have more stress, they are vulnerable to all kinds of infections. Now, this is the third factor, indigestion. In Ayurveda, we say that digestion is key, is the foundation of good health. So, results in formation of ama. Ama is undigested food. Okay, these are, and it results into digestive and metabolic toxins. Okay, the fourth factor, diminution of ojas. So, if we have more ama, that means food is not converting into ojas, and I will explain ojas just in a moment. Chronic diseases, those who have heart patients, diabetes, hypertension, chronic diseases. Okay, so these are internal factors. Two approaches of immunity. Number one, focus on attacker. In this case, COVID is the attacker. So what do we find for that? We find a vaccine. This is what the whole world is focusing on right now. And not enough emphasis is given on focus on host. Can we do something while the vaccine is coming, while someone is taking vaccine or getting vaccine, make this fort this strong, and how to do that? So significance of digestion. Key in Ayurveda is the digestion. Digestion is the foundation of health. And the second quote, there is a Sanskrit quote for that. Okay? Jatra praninam agni kayatya vidhite. This is what this means. Don't worry about the Sanskrit. Cause of all disease is slow digestion. Roga means disease. Sarve api, all have their root in indigestion. Okay? So if we can maintain digestion, and Ayurveda has very simple, very effective methods to keep your digestion optimal. Okay? So digestion key to health or disease. So Agni or digestive power, proper digestion or improper digestion. Proper digestion results into ojas, means health, good health. Improper digestion results into ama or poor health. So how do we know that we have ama or not? Okay. So here are some symptoms. Feeling heavy, just heavy, dull, sluggish. Feel like blocked. I see so many patients who come and say, I just feel like blocked, I feel like cleanse. I should do cleanse. There are some symptoms. Low energy, flatulence, constipation, tongue coated. This is the most important. In the modern medicine, they have to do endoscopy to know if the gut is healthy or not. In Ayurveda, looking at tongue, we can say a lot. What is their gut like? What is this going through? We can say a lot. Low appetite. Okay? These are signs of ama. What is ojas? So opposite of ama is ojas. It is harbinger of health. Ojas is the final and most refined product of digestion and metabolism. So think about it. We take the food, first physically breaking down by teeth, then in the stomach mixing like a grinder. So at this point, it is only physical. And then it goes into duodenum, liver enzymes, pancreatic enzymes comes and they break down chemically. So complex protein becomes amino acids, complex carbohydrate becomes sugar and or glucose, and complex fatty acids become fatty acids. So this is what chemical breakdown does. If this is happening optimum, Now it is ready as nutrients to get to the gut. But is this happening in all the people? And if it is not happening, why? Is it the gut that is compromising, or is it our habits that are compromising? So Ojas is the final, once it goes into the circulation, it goes through tissue metabolism, and the final product, refined product, is called Ojas. Now, how do we know Ojas? Can we touch it, or can we see it under the microscope? No. Ojas is present all over the body, just as butter is present in every molecule of milk. If we look at milk, we cannot see or say or point that this is butter. But if we put that butter, if we put that milk in the blender and blend it for some time, it comes on the top. So that means butter was always there, but it was not visible in the milk. Same way, Ojas is all over there. If we have good Ojas, it glows, radiance. So
Dr.
radiant.
Gupta, yeah, Dr. Gupta, I have a question here. Dr. Gupta?
Yes, please, please.
Yeah, I have a question here. Now, are we saying then that Ojas is existing already in food substances, already in the body, and but Ojas is not something physical, it is non-physical. So through the process of digestion, proper digestion, is it that we're releasing something that is not physical? It's releasing something that is subtle, that comes from the physical. That is.
So what? Yeah. So what it is it is the state. It is not a specific substance. Like the food has Ojas or has potential to form Ojas if it is converted and transformed and digested properly.
So are we saying
sometimes that even good emotions can convert into Ojas.
Right. So are we saying then that Ojas is something like prana?
That's correct. But it's more physical form.
Right.
But what kind of physical? It's not physical as of like skin, bones, and all those. It's the finest. So it's almost junction point between the finest of physicality and the starting point of consciousness or awareness.
Yeah. So would you say that Ojas can generate tejas, which is shine?
Yes.
And Ojas can generate prana, which is the substance of, which is the energy of activity. So that Ojas can generate prana and also tejas.
Yes.
Okay.
If Ojas is there, tejas will be there, and prana will be there.
Right. Okay.
Those three exist together.
Yeah.
One cannot say that have good Ojas but does not have prana or does not have tejas. It's not.
So are we saying then that when Ojas is released, we can make us more energetic in terms of pranic sense to perform action, and it can bring more shine in our bodies?
Correct.
So then we know definitely from the foods that we eat or from the release of the body that we are converting Ojas into prana and tejas.
Correct.
Okay.
So here are some things, very briefly I will say, conserve and promote Ojas to build immunity. So there are things to avoid and there are things to favor. So in terms of avoid, what is detrimental or diminishing Ojas? Alcohol, stress, too much fasting, not eating properly, anger, eating leftovers, eating preservative foods, genetically engineered foods. So all of these things need to be avoided in order to have optimum Ojas. Eating more than digestive capacity, that is also going to result into not digesting it, so not having the final product, which is Ojas. Right? The favor, one has to eat more fresh, organic, sattvic, dairy products, but also from grass-fed cows made properly. Ghee is very good product for that. 6 days, the food should have all the 6 days. The last thing is taking the rasayanas. Rasayanas are, in Ayurveda, they are called nutritive substances, nutritive formulas. One of them is Chyawanprash, or eating more amla berry like amlaki, guduchi, basil. So these are some of the products. There is a list is very big, but I just try to mention few. So now if say is the opposite, like say digestion is compromised, that's why one does not have ojas, right? So not good digestion means formation of ama. So how do we reduce ama? So here is some list. Just simplest thing, never drink ice cold water, ice cold drinks, only take hot water. And it is magic, I can tell you. Sip hot water frequently throughout the day. If you cannot do much, at least do this. Lemon honey water in the morning. But again, I have to warn here, some people, they are pitta, they have good digestion already. If they do it, they might not benefit, and actually it might not be the best for them. Use of digestive spices like kapha spice mix, ginger, cumin, fennel, all these curry powders, they are good, specifically when there is ama. Ginger lime pickle, digestive decoction recipe like boil 1 quart of water with 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1 teaspoon of coriander seeds, 1 teaspoon of fresh grated ginger, half teaspoon of fresh lime juice, 2 pinches of black pepper, and then again this can vary according to dosha constitution, and 2 pinches of rock salt. Okay, and then just boil it and then drink this. This is specifically when someone has ama. Okay. Now, how to strengthen Agni? Agni means digestion, appetite. How to strengthen? Sometimes people feel slow Agni. So, in that case, eat 3/4 of the capacity, eat at the same time, eat vital foods, eat with attention. Guruji was saying the other day, Sahana Bhavatu Sahana. So, that prayer actually is not just the Sanskrit prayer, it's just bringing all your attention there. So all your energy is available, and body's energy and intelligence is available, and you are eating not just through the mouth, but through the senses, through the smell, through the colors. So all your attention is there. Right spices for you. This is another detoxifying recipe, in which case 1/4 teaspoon of whole cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of whole coriander, 1/2 teaspoon of whole fennel. Steep it for 10 minutes and drink during the day. This is immune boosting spice mix. Basically, we added here 2 parts of turmeric, 3 parts of ground cumin, 3 parts of ground coriander, 6 parts of fennel, 1 part of ginger, 1 part of black pepper, and ground cinnamon. So this makes a good combination for immune boosting. Now here are some rasayanas. Rasayanas are these, you might have seen these herbal formulas, Ayurvedic herbal formulas. It's 8th branch of Ayurveda actually. Ayurveda has 8 specialties, one of them is rasayana. And that which boosts immunity and that which has anti-aging effect. One of them is Chyawanprash. For specific immunity, for each organ we have specific herbs. For like heart we have Arjuna, for kidneys we have Gokshara, for brain we have Brahmi or Ashwagandha. So here I would like to conclude some general measures at this time of COVID that one can do. As I said before, drink warm water throughout the day, particularly for kapha type and vata type specifically. Daily practice of yoga asanas, which you must have gotten instructions from Guruji, pranayam, meditation, at least 30 minutes as advised. Spices, specifically some spices. Now, you might not be surprised actually, the sale for turmeric across the world is going crazy right now. So, and I will give you one recipe of this just in a moment. So, turmeric, cumin, coriander, garlic, these are recommended in the cooking. So here are some of the recipes. Take Chyawanprash, 10 grams, 1 teaspoon. For diabetes, you can find the sugar-free one. This decoction is becoming very popular right now in India, and it is distributed by several state governments and even central government to people for free, because it is found to be very effective for this kind of situation. So in this case here, basil, cinnamon, black pepper, dry ginger, munakka is the raisin, one particular kind, and then boil it, add some jaggery in it and some lime juice for your taste, and then drink that during the day, 2 or 3 times during the day. Okay. Another one is the golden milk, basically half teaspoon of turmeric powder in 150 ml of good organic milk, and then boil it and take it twice daily. So with this, basically, I think I have concluded my presentation. I would take more questions. I think we are already over time.
No, we are still within time, and I am so pleased with your presentation. It's more than what I expected of you. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. And I'm going to open up the floor now for questions from our viewers. I'm sure that you will agree that it was an amazing presentation. And so now I think there are some questions. I think Jyoti had a question. Would you like to ask Dr. Gupta?
Namaskar.
Go ahead, Jyoti.
It is a really marvelous presentation. I like it very much. I could also have new insights, but I love to go back to the beginning of the presentation, and that is that you said that there is this missing link, and that the missing link is self-awareness. And I think it's very empowering to see it in that way. So I was wondering a bit about it, because is there a bigger picture? Because is it possible that COVID can be challenging us because of this missing link? And if so, is it in another way thinking, can it help us to increase this self-awareness?
Yes, definitely. And actually in Charak Samhita, one of the main texts of Ayurveda, in one chapter, it very clearly defines that why pandemics come. It very clearly defines that how in the beginning, everyone, even now sometimes you go into village, everyone lives like a family. So it defines that there are some diminution of some qualities that see everything as part of family, everything is part of self. So the maintaining harmony, not only just in the body, but even in the nature.
Yes.
So what happens when those qualities go down and people lose connection and become self-centered, then gradually the qualities in the nature and within, they go down. What happens with that process? The same vegetables, same fruits, same trees, same air, same weather that had optimum qualities before, now they are diminishing. Same herbs that were much more potent in smaller quantity before, now they are going down. So now then what happens? Because of that, body's immunity, which we were able to maintain with those living that kind of lifestyle, now the immunity starts going down. Not that viruses are new, they always existed. Bacteria always existed. But what happened? Our fort was strong. Our immunity was strong. Our stress was lowest. Our living life in accordance with nature was maximum. So they were going in and ineffective.
So are you saying, Dr. Gupta, let me ask a question here. Are you saying then that the viruses are in the system already, not that they are new, that they exist in the nature, Rana, just like everything else exists? But
They
when,
existed.
when our immunity drops really low, they get to manifest.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And it is actually not that I'm only saying this logically. In our textbooks, they have very clearly defined and named and told that these kind of organisms which cannot be seen by eyes are of this shape and they cause these kinds of problems.
Yes.
So they were always there.
Yeah.
But what it was, the force was strong.
Yes.
Immunity was good. And
Yes.
every action of ours was supporting it.
Yes. Absolutely.
So
So what?
that,
What you meant by?
and sorry, I'm sorry, Guruji. Just
Go
one
ahead. Go
point.
ahead. Go ahead.
So then what happened? This is what answers why modern medicine came into existence.
Yeah.
Our violation of natural law, in Ayurveda we say the root cause of all illnesses is mistaken intellect, pragyaparad, speech, behavior and action done by the state of mind that cannot make right decision.
Yes.
So then what happened, because of that, immunity went down, water quality went down, air quality went down, seasons were out of place, plants quality, vegetable quality, herbs quality went down, same decoctions, same teas, same powders that were very effective before, they were not able to control. So what happened? All kinds of illnesses like cholera, smallpox, plague, all these kinds of illnesses, now they were wiping villages and villages.
Yeah. So heavy reduction of ojas.
Exactly. So what happened then, the same system of healthcare, which was worldwide, global, everywhere, I have traveled everywhere and I saw that people were actually, initially, they were all having herbal medicine. But it became ineffective. So what happened? It was a crisis.
Yeah.
Around 200, 250 years or 300 years ago, crisis came, first-hand experience. And people started thinking, whatever system of healthcare we have is not enough to save lives. We have to look differently. Then they started going deep. Then they started, so focus switched from raising immunity to organism, to what is attacking.
Yes.
And creating all kinds of medicine to kill that. So focus went from one who is suffering to one who is making suffer. And that's where our approach from holistic became reductionist.
Yeah.
But reductionistic was okay because for the crisis care. But when crisis care medicine became day-to-day life medicine, that's where the problem
So
is.
she's also saying that it's an opportunity to come back to holistic awareness.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So so that's why now coming to practical solution, how to deal with this when it is so widespread. We have to create groups, like-minded people,
Yes.
meditating together.
Beautiful.
In all parts of the world.
Yeah.
In all
beautiful.
parts of the world.
Yeah. So we have to go back to the higher level of thinking and operating.
Right. And this study actually is done. It was then, I think, 1991 in Washington, D.C., where a group of meditators, they meditated, and then all kinds of scientists were involved, and they proved when 1,000 meditators, they were meditating without telling anyone in the gardens and everywhere in the streets.
Yeah, I think if one was 1% of the population, it made a drastic reduction.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the crime went down
Yeah.
and everything, it changed for good. So
Yes.
there is a solution, scientific
So
solution.
the promise of the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
But-
that's how awareness, the point here is, I think what I would like to just maintain here. It doesn't necessarily need for everyone to be involved in the process. If few people meditate, it creates positive vibes outside.
We need,
and it
we need a critical mass.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for asking that question.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Gupta. Let's go to Teresa of Ireland. I saw the hand coming up. Teresa.
Namaskar, Guruji, and thank you, Dr. Gupta. That was a wonderful and really interesting presentation. I would just like to ask you a question. You said that in Ayurveda, that poor digestion and slow digestion can be the cause of disease. And you mentioned the signs of ama and gave us some tips for ama reducing measures. And I'm just wondering, are these things that would help to bring any of the doshas back into balance? And also, if once the body is back in balance, is this something that can be stopped, or is it something that you would recommend doing as an ongoing prevention to assist the digestion?
So for the digestion, actually, if you eat, while we have the dosha type, there is also gut type. So once you know your gut type and the strength of your digestion, then you just eat according to your digestive capacity and according to your dosha. And that way you will maintain your good health and homeostasis.
Yeah, but we'll bring Dr. Gupta again on for specific things as time permits for him. But so he can deal with some of these subjects separately and give more attention to it. So what I would like of you, give us feedback as to what areas do you think that we can invite him to speak about again. Right? Okay, so even if he cannot go exhaustively into a subject, but we could mark it for the future. Yeah. Thank you, Teresa. Anyone else would like to ask? Yeah, let's take Jenny from Trinidad. Jenny?
Namaskar, Guruji and Dr. Gupta. I am ecstatic. Ecstatic. I mean, I am just like, whoa. Guruji is a comment kind of, and I just have a quick question after. Because, you know, you always hear the term symbiosis being used. And what Dr. Gupta has done, he has now blown that out.
Yes.
So expansively that what is coming to me is like, you know, when we say when the student is ready, the master appears. Right, that's one relational from the internal to the environment. And then I remembered you saying once when I say, well, like, how does a Christ come? And you say, well, there needs to be a collective amount of people that are yearning for enlightenment, and that brings a master, you know. And all these things are swirling around in my head, and I am like, we are the cause. And yet the remedy lies also with us. So it's a kind of dialectic that we have to understand based on our level of self-awareness. So everything is interconnected. Nothing is mutually exclusive.
No.
And it is like, whoa, you know, diet, social milieu, what you think. One quick point, Dr. Gupta. I remember when my Ayurvedic doctor, who has since passed, he was very heavy on garlic and olive oil and like watercress, you know, and it had marvelous effects on the whole system in terms of not just cleansing, but regulating and keeping the system regular. But at the same time, you know, sometimes the conventional doctors will tell you garlic will lower your pressure. You have to kind of balance how much of it you take. But do you have any anything else that you can add to that? Thank you so much.
Yeah, most welcome. And thank you for your comments. Garlic is, I will go a little bit specific on it. So garlic is heating, and it has ability to dissolve the cholesterol. And it also improves digestion. Now, so where we have to be careful, particularly if someone is more pitta constitution or have acidity, have any pitta imbalance, have heartburn, have to be careful. And in summer, have to be careful. But otherwise, it is good. Garlic is good for digestion. It is not only good for digestion in gut, but even at the cellular level. But for the quantity, one has to be very careful. It's not like everyone can tolerate.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Gupta. Any more questions, anybody? Okay, Dr. Gupta, this has been a marvelous presentation, and I think you've given a lot of food for thought to our members here. And I want to say how you've also enlightened me in a number of ways by going deeper into the subjects that I was curious about, like the ojas and the prana tejas connection, and also about the manas as seen from the Ayurveda side, and the Vigyan and the koshas as you've seen from the Ayurveda side. I was very happy for that knowledge. It has extended mine in a way. And I like what you said about the compromised lifestyle that we have now is what is creating this uprising in the infections. And you gave some very, very powerful tips as to how to improve the ojas and how to reduce the things that are not good for us. So I want to thank you for those and the dietary items as well. But I know that we'll need to know more, and I'm curious to see what the feedback will be from the audience, and we'll share those with you and let you know what has transpired today. And but I want to thank you very much for this. So here's where we'll conclude, everybody, with great thanks to Dr. Gupta, and we look forward to seeing him again. Can you bring back the gallery for me so I can conclude the program? Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
No, you stay on, Dr. Gupta, because I want to end with a little centering again. I'm glad that you love the centering in the beginning because it takes us back to the original space, and also that you said a prayer to the deity of Ayurveda. I want to say how much I appreciate that. You said it so beautifully in Sanskrit. So here, let us come together again with gratitude in our hearts. Let's take a moment to center. Just focus on the breathing, breathing out slowly and breathing in deeply, consciously. Bring the mind back into silence. Open hearts to each other. And let's hold the idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is one family. And we can demonstrate that today by coming into that mental space of oneness, embracing each other in the mental field, embracing each other with open hearts, in the awareness that our individual heart is in the cosmic heart. And breathing into the gut so we can bring this peacefulness, this unity of peace and love and harmony right down to our body cells. Breathing deeply into the gut, connecting with the very root center in the perineum area. Let's open our hearts today to be in gratitude for the gift of knowledge and for our collective presence that continues to create a network across our communities, spreading love and peace and harmony. And here I'll repeat the prayer of togetherness from the Upanishad. Om Sahana Bhavatu. May we be protected together. Sahana Bhunaktu. May we be nourished together. Sahaviryam Karavavahe. May we be strengthened together. Tejasvinavaditamastu. May our knowledge turn into light, wisdom. Ma Vidvishavahe. And may we always be united amidst diversity. Om Shanti, peace, Shanti, peace, Shanti, peace. Thank you, everyone. So look out for our announcements as we continue the series, Be Well and Stay Well. And thank you for a marvelous energy co-creation today and for the gift of our speaker, Dr. Gupta. So thank you, everyone. And here we close our program. Namaskar.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you. Namaskar, everyone.